This is how I make hummus at home. This is a simple recipe that's easy to make, takes only a few minutes and a few simple ingredients. It's healthy and delicious. Here we go. Now the main two ingredients in hummus is typically chickpeas and tahini. If you're not familiar with tahini, it is a paste made out of sesame seeds, and it's kind of a specialty grocery item. They don't sell it at my regular grocery store, and personally I don't really care for the flavor all that much. It's not worth the trip to a separate grocery store to get it, so I just don't do it at all. This is just a delicious chickpea based dip that is inspired by hummus. And this bean goes by at least two names, one of them being Garbanzo beans. And in this recipe I'm going to use two 15-ounce cans of chickpeas, and I'm going to drain off the liquid. I'm not a fan of the canning liquid. I'll just add a little bit of water later. I know some people like to refer to the bean liquid as aqua faba, and that is Latin, which literally translates into bean water. I'm thinking they just think the word aqua faba sounds more sophisticated than bean water. But I'm not a fan of the bean water flavor and the oligosaccharides that come with the bean water. So I'm going to drain the liquid out of the cans, but I'm not going to rinse them, just drained. And I'm going to dump those 2 cans of chickpeas into the food processor. Now I'm just going to add some spices. The first thing I'm going to add is a salt, just about this much. And then some fresh ground pepper, just about this much. And then a little onion powder, about this much. And a little garlic powder, about this much. Next is some ground cumin, exactly this much. And now some lemon juice, exactly this much lemon juice. And this is optional, but I like to add a little bit of cayenne in there, just give a little bit of heat. And I think cayenne has a pretty good flavor too. I'm going to put in just a little bit of oil just to help things kind of move around in the food processor here. And I don't always do this, but I have some of these roasted red bell peppers in the fridge, so I'm just going to take just kind of one side of the pepper out of the jar there. A little chunk of that red pepper goes a long way, so just a piece like that is plenty of flavoring to give this batch of hummus some good red pepper flavor. But again, the cayenne and the red pepper, they're optional, and you could stop right after the lemon juice and just blend that up, and that'll be plenty of flavor. This red pepper will add a nice little twist. And I'm going to add 1/3 cup of water now, just to give it enough liquid so it can start blending up in the food processor, and I'll trickle in a little bit more water later just to fine tune it to the right texture. So off we go in the food processor, and I like to let the food processor run for probably at least a good 90 seconds or so. And while that's happening, I'll just keep watching it and seeing how it's going. I really don't bother stopping to reach in there and push those larger pieces down. I really don't care about that. I don't mind those larger pieces in there. I think it's kind of nice actually. And as you can see, this is looking a little thick, kind of doughy, and I want it to be creamy, so I'm going to trickle in a little bit of water. All in all, it probably ended up being about maybe 1/4 cup of water that I put in additionally. And like I said, about 90 seconds, and here we have a pretty smooth textured bean dip here. And it's smooth, but it does still have some texture. It's not totally creamy like a peanut butter or anything like that. It's totally got a little bit of texture in there, and I like that quite a bit. And this will stiffen up even more after you put it in the fridge and it has a chance to chill. So keep that in mind as you're adding the water, that it will get thicker after you put it in the fridge. But I'm going to just transfer this from the food processor into a Tupperware container. And then just to be fancy, you could do a little swirly on the top with the spatula. Woohoo! But on goes the lid, and in the fridge it goes, and it'll keep there in the fridge for a week, no problem. Mine is usually gone within a week though. And my favorite way to eat this is as an afternoon snack with some carrot sticks or possibly some celery sticks. Maybe drizzle a little bit of your favorite hot sauce on the top just for an extra little flavor kick. And this is high in fiber and it's good for you. You'd be surprised how much you get filled up on just a little pile of this chickpea dip and some carrot sticks. But this is great as a dip like this, or it's great as a spread too. You can spread it on sandwiches or in wraps. It's great for that too. But that's how I make hummus with no tahini. I hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.